Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to something a little bit different today. Now, I've been noticing on my suggested on YouTube, a lot of Americans react to the UK, whether it's like funny TV shows or the way of life in the UK. And I was like, you know, it would be quite interesting for a Brit that moved to America to react to Americans that moved to Britain. I think I have a pretty rare or unique vantage point. I've spent literally half my life in both. So I spent 15 years in the UK, 15 years in the US, and I think it could be interesting to just see what the Americans think of the UK. There's a lot of these videos that I think would be fun. I mean, there's a few that are, you know, Americans react to 10 things the UK does better. Americans react to, you know, funny UK moments. And it's just interesting to see, you know, the differences. This video, though, that we're going to be watching here first today, it's an American that says, "Don't move to England if." So as somebody, obviously, that's from the UK, that lives here, I want to see what an American that moved there says is something that you wouldn't want to move there for. So we're going to watch this together, and let's see what it's all about. All right, so here we go. Don't move to England if. Let's see what this thing's all about.
Hi, everyone. It's me.
Headphones on.
This week, we are going to talk about don't move to...
She said talk about. Talk about. Isn't that... I think that's Canadian. Is she Canadian? Have I messed up the very first video already? Alright, let's see what this is.
England if. So I have some personality traits and some specific like mindset kind of things that I think are really important to have if you are interested in moving here to England.
Okay.
And if you don't have them, then maybe don't move here. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Alana and I'm a Canadian, but I've been living here in the southeast of England for the last 5 years. So some of these I've learned the hard way, and I'd like to share them with you guys. So without further ado, let's go. So first up, don't come to England if you are running away from your problems, because they'll just come with you. I think social media and movies and TV...
I think that's going to be the same anywhere, is it not? You can't really just run away from your problems. I think if no matter what country you move to... I don't think that's England necessary one,
all that kind of stuff really glamorizes moving abroad, moving to England. You know, you're starting over, you're starting fresh, you're having a new adventure and all that fun stuff. But it is very important to remember that if you are looking to move to England specifically because you'd really like to run away from some certain problems, please just know that they will likely come with you. So for example, I deal with anxiety. I dealt with it back in Ontario, Canada, in my home. And when I moved to England, I brought it with me. Whether you are dealing with a particular mental health issue or something in your personal life or your job, or you're unhappy with who you are, or a whole variety of things, and you think that going to England, you're kind of getting away from it, just remember, it will come with you. So, something to keep in mind. Don't move to England if you are incapable or unwilling to adapt, because it's pretty much necessary. So on this channel, we do a lot of cultural comparison kind of things.
I think so far, I mean, the first one, I mean, given, especially in America, I mean, and in Canada, I'm sure around the world, people look at the UK, you know, especially like with the royal family and everything. It's like this fairy tale. There's kings and queens and princesses and princes. And, you know, people expect it to be like the movies, which I understand what she said. It's the same with like Paris, right? People, you know, the city of love and all of this stuff. And Paris is beautiful, but nowhere is what it looks like on TV. You know, as a Brit that's moved from the UK over here, you know, I've seen, before I moved here, Hollywood, right? Hollywood is this glitz and glamour and Rodeo Drive, and, you know, it's not like it is on TV. Just around the corner from Rodeo Drive, there's a bunch of sex shops, and there's a bunch... It's just dirty. It's just not... Rodeo Drive itself is beautiful. But yeah, I think just what I'm saying in general is nothing is like what it seems on TV. Look at Egypt, for example, right? The pyramids. People see the pyramids and like, oh my God, I'd love to go visit the pyramids. All of the pictures you see of the pyramids don't show you right next to it this big city. It looks like it's this majestic in the middle of nowhere, but it's right on a city. So I think, you know, being well-traveled is a good thing. and traveling the world and seeing different cultures and ways of life, but definitely don't expect them to be exactly as your imagination portrays them, especially as she's saying, you know, if you're thinking of moving somewhere, just getting up and leaving without having visited first, that's kind of crazy. But anyway.
And I'll talk about how certain things are done here in the UK, and I'll get comments from people being like, that's so stupid, that's dumb, I'd never do it like that, that's lame, that's super inefficient, wow, that's so old, I can't believe they still do it like that, that makes no sense, why would you do it like that, I'd never do it like that, that seems stupid. And while I love talking about cultural differences on this YouTube channel, this is obviously not real life, so when I turn the camera.
And as far as cultural differences, you have to respect the culture no matter what country you go to. Every country is different. And it can be a good thing. It can be more alongside your values, or it could not. Or maybe you go there because you like the look of it and the atmosphere, but, you know, some of the things you don't like, but, you know, it's which one do you prefer? You know, there's good and bad to everything. But you'll just get used to it. People look at the world differently, especially different cultures, and you just got to respect that, really. I mean, when I moved to the US, complete culture shock, and they're both, you know, English-speaking nations, but it's a complete culture shock. Like, everything here is, not everything, but there's a lot of things here that, you know, took a long time to get used to.
Camera off, I live my actual life like a British person. So I try my best to speak how a British person would, interact with other people like a British person would. I try to conform to society norms and cultural expectations, and I at least try to assimilate as best as I can, because I think that is extremely important. So if you are...
I would agree in a couple things. I think it's more along the lines of respect the culture, and try and see things from different points of view. But as far as, you know, try and speak like them, talk like them, walk like them, I don't think that's necessary. You know, my accent is the mix of the UK and the US, right? And, you know, the reason my accent changed is because, not because I wanted to conform and sound like them and talk like them, but people just couldn't understand me. Like, when I first moved here, just the basic words, my accent was just so thick, people couldn't understand it. And that's why my accent got a lot softer, was because just to get around, be able to ask for basic things in grocery stores or in life over here, people can't understand your accent. So you change it so that they can understand you, and eventually your accent becomes that. Which is weird, though, because I always say it's like speaking two different languages. You know, people that speak two different languages sometimes say they have different personalities in each language they speak. And I feel like it's kind of like that, because when I go back to the UK, it's almost like I switch and I speak a different language. My accent comes back thicker over there. You know, I talk more like I did when I was there. Obviously, it's a lot softer because of over here. But it's weird. But, yeah, it's a weird thing. But I think your accent changes just so people... For me, it changed so people could understand me, not because I was trying to fit in.
Unable or unwilling to do so, maybe don't move here. I would expect the same thing if a British person was moving to Canada or moving to America. I would expect that person to adapt, to assimilate to an American way of life. You know, that is what is respectful.
I agree, and she's respectful, for sure. Yeah, you definitely don't want to go to another country and then try and make it like your own country, right? I feel like that's, you know, you don't want to come here and be like, oh, this is awful. You need to do it like we do it. You know, obviously there's certain things that, like I've said, pros and cons to living in both countries. And some things, like for me, that I grew up with in the UK, I think would be much better here than some of the things they do here. I think it would be better if they implemented some things we do there. But it goes both ways. And you can't expect, you know... to move to a country and then say you want to make it your own.
That's kind of what's expected. You don't want to be that person who is constantly like, oh, this is stupid, this is dumb, why do you do it that way, that's so annoying, I never want to do it this way, my country does it better, my country, you know, England is way more efficient, we discovered that stuff. We know how to do it better than you guys. Stop.
It seems like she's more upset with the UK saying that about other countries than she is about her. I thought it was supposed to be the opposite. It seems like she's gone to the UK and people have been, you know, telling her that the way they do it in the UK is better. And she's not happy with that, which is kind of the opposite of what she's saying when she's saying to kind of embrace their culture. I don't know. Maybe I'm reading this wrong.
Nobody likes you. Now, as an immigrant, you do kind of
She seems kind of upset about it. I'm not going to lie. She seems pretty upset.
Like an existential crisis, which is very exciting. So, of course, I don't want to be someone that I'm not. I don't want to change who I am as a person, right? I am Canadian. I'm always going to be Canadian. I am never going to be English. I'm never going to be British. I am Canadian. That's who I am. However, I do live in England, so I need to be respectful. I need to assimilate as best I can, do the best that I can. You know, that's all you can ask for. I'm not going to pretend to be British or pretend to be English, because that's a bit weird, but I want to act in a way that is respectful and that I can adapt to society here. Does that make sense? Hi, I'm sitting over here, which means this is the part of the video where I beg you to subscribe. Could you subscribe? It would be
same.
It would just make
do the thing.
Absolute
Press the button. Ding dong the bell.
If you could subscribe or leave a thumbs up on a video or leave a comment. It's
do
kind
all
of
the
shocking
things.
how much that actually helps. Not just for me, but for any YouTube channel that you watch. If you want to support them, a thumbs up, a comment, and a subscription.
I feel that on a deep level. I mean, I've probably made a fool out of myself multiple times on this video already.
Is super helpful, and I'd really appreciate it.
Cling.
All right, that's the end of this bit. Don't move to England if you are unwilling or unable to get out of your comfort zone, because it's gonna.
I think, again, I feel like this goes for any country, not just the UK. Right? I feel like this is a very harsh way of looking at it. Like I say, as someone that lived there half my life, lives here half my life, I think it's very hard. Like, I feel like this video would scare me if I was from the US moving there. Like, it seems like there's a lot of rules to follow, and it's not that way. Like, it seems like it's very... You have to do everything they do and don't steer out of your... Like, just be yourself. You know? You don't have to... You know, it's nice to have your own identity and sound the way you sound and, you know, do things differently. You know? It's a cool quirk of living in a different country. I say and do things different than people do here. No one gets mad at me for it, and I don't think people in the UK would get mad at you for it either.
Gonna happen a lot. A huge part of being an expat or an immigrant, I mean in any country, is you are pretty much forced out of your comfort zone. It can be very awkward and embarrassing and uncomfortable, but it is kind of a job requirement of being an expat. Especially at the beginning, when you first move abroad, everything is going to feel weird and strange, and you're not going to know what's expected of you. You're not going to know those unwritten cultural norms. Those are only things that you can pick up after being there for a long time. So you have to just sort of accept the fact that when you first move anywhere, but specifically in this case into England, you have to expect that you are going to be out of your comfort zone a lot of the time. And it can get very tiring, and it can get very anxiety inducing, but it is part of the job of being an expat, and you really have to just come to terms with it. Even in situations where, say, you get a job in England, you may be the only foreigner or the only person from your country in that workplace. You are a novelty. People may not have even met someone from your country or have known someone from your country.
True.
And it's all a bit weird and awkward.
Same
and it's
for
very
me when
much
I moved here.
putting you out of your comfort zone. You're not going to understand all those particular situations.
I think one of the... It was the same with me, right? As soon as you open your mouth, you're different. I know when I first came over here, You know, I was really shy. I didn't know anyone. I had no friends. I went to school here. And as soon as I opened my mouth, I was different. So as someone that was shy and didn't know anyone, the fact that just answering a question made all eyes on me. Because, oh my God, you have an accent. You know, it can be intimidating for sure. And at work, you know, as she's saying, as soon as you open your mouth and talk, you're different. But I don't necessarily think that's a bad thing, and I'm sure that she's not saying that either.
Or those cultural norms, but you really just got to go with it. Just accept the fact that it's going to be awkward, and just do your best. That's really all you can do.
And people will make fun of you. People will make fun of her for her American accent. People made fun of me for my American accent. I think, like I say, Americans see the British accent a lot, not all, but it's always this, like I say, fairy tale. Americans really like the royal family from what I've seen from living here. And it's always very proper, and it's the British accent, and it's all more, you know. And I don't know. I can't say what it's like for someone that has a Canadian or American accent going to the UK. But I'm sure both ways, people will make fun of you. Not always in a nasty way. You know, it'll be fun, happy joking. And some people will do it in a nasty way. You know, I've had people come up to me when I first moved. In school, I had teachers, literal teachers, pull me aside when I was walking and like whisper in my ear, like, we kicked your ass in the war. I was 15, bro. Relax. So it goes both ways. I've had people call me, because in the UK the word wanker is a thing. It's not over here. But they know, some Americans know that that's a bad word in the UK. And I was doing a lifeguard thing when I first moved here. I think I was 15 years old. And it was called Junior Lifeguards, where it's basically like a summer camp, but you're on the beach. And you're like lifeguard training. And one of the lifeguards pulled me aside and called me a wanker. So it happens. It's weird. I didn't take it personally. I don't care. I'm pretty thick-skinned, but I was just like, that was weird. What are you doing?
Don't move to England if you are unable to do things on your own. Now, I know there are a lot of people who just refuse to do things alone, and that's just not gonna fly. So you need to be somewhat comfortable in doing things by yourself. Of course, it's not ideal. Best case scenario is you make some friends and you can do things with your friends or a significant other, of course. But the reality is, especially if you are moving to England alone, you need to be able to do things alone. So whether that's going to the cinema, going to a cafe, or going out for lunch by yourself, going to a
I mean, this could work even if you move across country. Like if you're from the UK but you're in London and then you move up to Chester, where I was from, it would be the same. If you know nobody, it's not necessarily a country-specific thing. If you lived in LA and you moved to San Francisco by yourself, it would be the same.
Castle or a historical monument, or doing day trips by yourself. If you are unable to do things by yourself, you are going to miss out on so much of life here in England. So yes, I hope that you can make friends as quickly as possible.
It's
You'll
the
have
same
friends
in life anywhere, though. I
with,
disagree with this
but
being a UK
you do need to be
specific
comfortable
thing.
to some extent on doing things alone. Don't move to England if you can't handle the darkness.
True.
Yep, I'm going to talk about the weather again.
True.
I'm going to quote myself.
This is the one thing that I will agree with 100%. And this is the same, don't move to California if you don't like the heat, right? Don't move to the UK if you don't like miserable weather, because it is dark and grey and miserable and raining a lot of the time. I'll agree. Let's see what she has to say about this. Beautiful. But the UK summers are some of the best in the world. And it's beautiful. All of that dull, rainy days make for a beautiful, green, luscious country.
Wintertime here in England can be
miserable.
So dark.
Yeah,
So
it gets dark at like 3 o'clock.
Dark, and there's no way around it. So if
miserable.
You can't handle that, you should probably stay home.
Weather's huge, but that it could be for any country, right? But the UK weather is notorious for being awful. It's funny because the running joke in the UK is the weatherman is useless, right? But like in the US, if you look at your weather app, at least here in California, for the most part, it's always accurate. Like I rarely get inaccurate readings, but for some reason in the UK, the weather was never right. They would say one thing and then it would never be what they said it was going to be. You could go I remember the last time I was there, the entire day was miserable. And then at like 5 p.m. it got beautiful. It was like miserable all day. And then all of a sudden, sunshine and blue skies. I'm like, what the heck is happening here?
I've seen some winter days where it doesn't get light out till like 8 a.m. And then the sun...
There's a thing in the UK, I don't even know what it's called, but I remember it from childhood. It's a certain time of the year when it's like just before like sunset. You know how it gets like that weird, almost blue, like it's like a bluey grey, and this is everywhere in the world, even here, but just before like sunset it's like bluey grey, and it's just like this weird time of day. In the UK, I remember it was like that for like 4 hours. Certain times of the year it wasn't light out, it wasn't dark, it was like right in the middle of just before it gets dark, and it stayed like that for like 4 hours, and it's weird. I kind of miss it.
Sun starts going down at like 3:30
Yeah, it's bad.
in the afternoon.
It's bad.
So the sun could be fully...
But in the summer, it can stay sunny until 11 p.m., which is also weird, but it happens.
gone. It's completely dark by 4 p.m.
When I say sunny,
in
it's
the
daylight, not sunny.
afternoon. So for me, as a Canadian living in England, I bought a sad light, and I would definitely recommend it. But I would absolutely recommend taking vitamin D3 throughout the wintertime. That's what I do. It makes a big difference. Because, wow, it can get dark, you guys. Don't move to England if you are not willing to fight for a job. Now, when I first moved to England, I was pretty naive, all right? I was young, okay? It was a long time ago. But I applied for jobs here in England that I had already done in Canada. I was a level above these jobs, right? So I was coming to England, I was applying for jobs that were below what I was doing in Canada. I thought, I'm gonna be a shoo-in. This is easy. I'm here on a valid working visa. I've done these types of jobs
I don't know
before.
about this.
Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. I was rejected for all of them. So I don't want to scare foreigners or expats
I don't know why.
away from coming to England. Of course not. I love it here. It's one of my most treasured experiences of my whole life. But
I can turn anyone into a beach bomb.
I think it is helpful to be aware that it is very difficult to get a job as a foreigner, even if you have experience, even if you have, your valid working visa, you're allowed to be here, you're allowed
I don't
to
know
work
why.
here. It's
I don't know
very
why.
difficult. So I think knowing that kind of helps the sting
can't
of
answer that. I don't
rejection.
know.
If you expect it, you know it's going to happen.
I mean,
but
coming
you
to
also
the US,
need to know that
it's
you
not
need
hard.
to fight for a job quite a bit harder than you would in your home country.
I don't know
And I
that.
would absolutely
Maybe it's something
recommend
to do with
that you have
degrees and
like
stuff. I
2
don't
or
know.
3 months worth of savings to live off when you first come to England.
course.
So you have that time to find a
I mean, that's the same anywhere. Like I say, even if you move city, even if you move in general, if you don't have a job and you move, you should have savings, right? I mean, that's...
job, because it can be really difficult. Not impossible. And I've got loads of videos about getting a job and that kind of stuff, so it's not impossible, but it is tough. So I think
Yeah,
if you
I don't
go
know.
into it knowing that you really have to fight for it, makes it easier, no, but it helps with the rejection if you can expect it. I think a big part of being an expat or a foreigner in England is to have the willingness and the ability to go with the flow. And there are definitely people who do not have that.
Yeah.
So I think you can be quite successful as an expat in England if you move here really with an open mind, with the willingness to try new things.
Well, I feel like you wouldn't move anywhere. I'm not sitting there trying to defend the UK. But I feel like you wouldn't move anywhere unless you were open to change. Unless you were you had to move for work or something like that. Or for family issues or something, right? But this video is more about for people that just want to move because they would like to, not because they have to. So I feel like for people that would like to move somewhere, you would have an open mind anyway. And if you would like to move somewhere without an open mind, then that's a different issue.
With the ability to be out of your comfort zone, it really does make a big difference. It is very scary at first, of course, but just being able to go with the flow genuinely makes things a lot easier. And of course, knowing that the way you live your life in your home country is not necessarily how people live their lives in England.
True.
And neither way is necessarily right or wrong.
True.
But having that ability just to be open to new experiences, to new ways of doing things, or saying things, or interacting with people, just having that willingness and that ability just is just, you just need it, okay? It makes things so much better, I promise you. So those are some personality traits and some mindsets that I think are really, really important to have if you plan on moving to England. If you listened to this video and found that a lot of those things you are not willing to do or not capable or able to do, maybe don't move to England. But I hope you guys like this video.
Okay, so, I mean, yeah. I feel like this could have been anywhere. Don't move. The title of this could have been "Don't Move Abroad" if you have any of these, right? I don't think this was very specific to the UK. I think there could have been a lot of things that she said that I was expecting, culturally wise, but it wasn't. It was a lot more "Don't move abroad" if you aren't open to change. Which, in my opinion, you have to be open to change, right? If you're going to move because you want to. Yeah, I wouldn't worry too much about it, guys. Like, it did seem very, I don't know. This is her experience, though, so I don't know. But, I wouldn't worry about trying to fit in too much. I think I would be respectful of every country, anywhere you move to, even a different state if you're in the US. Be respectful of the differences, but be open to change for sure. But like I say, being well traveled is a good thing. Being able to experience different cultures and different ways of life is an incredible thing. And it's usually the people that don't travel that are the ones that are kind of how she's explaining, the people that aren't willing to change, that say that their way of life is better than other people's way of life, saying the way that they do things is better than the way you do things, and vice versa. Those are usually people that don't travel. I found, just in general, people that don't travel are the ones that think that the way they do things is the right way. But yeah, it was interesting. I think the next video I do tomorrow is going to be more so just Americans reacting to more specific UK things. Because I don't think this was very specific to the UK. I really don't. I think this should have been "Don't move abroad" if... I mean, this video could have been about Thailand, it could have been about France, it could have been about Japan, it could have been about America. This could have been about anywhere. And what she's saying is right. I wouldn't say it's very specific to the UK or England, as she says. But some things I can't speak on, like the jobs. I don't know what the issue was there. I don't know if it's because she felt like they didn't like Americans, or Canadians, sorry. Or if she felt like... Or maybe it was degrees, because I can tell you the education system in the UK and other countries is different, right? So maybe the degree... I couldn't tell you. But anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. It's a little different, I know. But if you did enjoy it, please hit that little like button down there somewhere. Ding dong the little notification bell so you get notified when I upload more videos. And leave a comment. Let me know if there's anything you guys would like me to react to. I do enjoy reaction videos, but most people hate watching them because I pause and talk so much. Sorry. Anyway, I'll see you guys tomorrow with another one. We're going to be doing... This time I'll make sure it's... Well, it doesn't have to be Americans, to be honest. It could be anyone. But I think, like... Yeah, we'll watch something a bit more funny. Anyway, I'll see you guys tomorrow. Have a good one. Bye.